Lesson 5.7, Comparison Number Stories. Our learning target today is I can count collections of objects, compare groups of objects, and write number models to match my work. For our lesson today, we're going to begin with the math message. We read it here. It says, Lou saved 5 cents. Lisa saved 8 cents. We have 2 questions to answer in regards to this money. Our first question is, who saved more money? And then the second question we want to answer is, how much more? So the first thing we do is we take a look at how much money each person had. Our first person, Lou, had 5 cents. So here we have Lou, and as you can see, I've put out 5 coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pennies, so we have 5 cents. The next thing that I did is I looked at Lisa, and she had 8 cents. So here I have Lisa's name, and I put out the pennies that she saved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the first thing I did is I made rows of pennies, one to represent Lou's coins and the other to represent Lisa's coins. And now that I've done that, boys and girls, we can take a look and we can answer this first question here. Who saved more money? Give me a thumbs up right now if you can tell me who saved more money. If Lou saved more money or if Lisa saved more money. That's right, boys and girls. By taking a look at our diagram and our visual here, we can tell, because we lined up our rows of pennies right next to each other, we can tell that Lisa saved more money. Now we're going to move to this next question. How much more money did Lisa save than Lou? So first of all, I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to quickly write that we know that Lisa saved more money. Okay, now back to our thinking here. How much more money does Lisa have than Lou? So if we look at our second step here, we're going to pair as many pennies as possible from one set with a penny from each to the other set. So here we drew little lines, and I'll add that these 2 pennies can go together, these 2 pennies go together, these 2 pennies go together, these 2 pennies can go together, and these 2 pennies go together. Which then we can take a look here at the pennies that are not paired, show how many more pennies Lisa has than Lou. So again, we can come look right up here. We see these pennies right here. I'm just going to circle them, and then we can count those. 1, 2, 3. So Lisa had 3 more pennies than Lou. So we can write that right here. So boys and girls, let's practice here. Let's do another one. This one here says Al has 12 cents. June has 7 cents. Our questions that go along with this number story today are a little bit different than the ones we just did. The first question is who has less money? And then our second question is how much less? So the first thing that I did, boys and girls, is I drew a picture. Now you could do this by drawing a picture, which I did for the video, or you could just put pennies out on your desk in a row. So I looked at my problem and it said Al has 12 cents. So I put down Al's name and I drew 12 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I looked at June and she had 7 cents. So I have June here And if you notice, I drew the pennies so that they line up so that later I can do my matching. And I counted out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pennies. So boys and girls, right now I want you to take a look carefully at this diagram and give me a quiet thumbs up when you can tell me which one of our people has less money. Go ahead and do this now. Very good, boys and girls. If we looked carefully at this, our question asked us who had less money. So the answer to that was that June had less money. By looking at our diagram here, we can see that June does not have as much, that Al has way more money than June. So the next thing we're going to do, boys and girls, is we're going to match our pairs. So I'm going to match these two and these two, one from each, all the way down until I can't do it anymore. And then I'm going to look for what's left over, which is right here. And that tells me how much more money Al has or how much money less June has. So I'm going to circle that here with my pencil, and then we can go ahead and count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So June, we can answer this question, and we can write June has 5 cents less. Now, boys and girls, when doing this, we can write a number story. So we can write a number model to go with it. So this is something new that we can do with this. So boys and girls, when we started with 12. And then we took away 7 of them by our matches right here. There were 7 matches. And then our answer was 5. And this is called, when we have an answer like this, and we're doing a subtraction problem, we call that the difference. Okay, boys and girls, now we're going to do some of this work on our own. We're going to take a look at journal page 92. So right now, get your journal out, and I want you to open up to page 92. So in this one, they're asking us again to find each difference. And instead of giving you a story, they've just gone ahead and told you the 2 names. So in number 1 here, we have John and Nick. And they showed us some pennies. And we can count, and then they ask us the same 2 questions. Here's one: who has more? How much more? So boys and girls, when we take a look at this, we can count up our pennies. We can take a look at the picture and determine these answers. Go ahead and do this problem now. Let's check problem 1. So boys and girls, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at our picture here and decide who has more. And by looking at this picture, we could determine that John has more. So go ahead and check your answer right now and see if you decided that John has more. Show me your thumbs up if you got that right. And now again, in order to figure out how much more, we should be drawing some lines. Your journal page should have some lines that connected it like that. And then you should draw a circle around what's left over to find out how much more. And then you should have went and counted that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So boys and girls, go ahead and check your answer and see if that's what you had for number 1. Okay, now let's take a look at number 2. Everyone should have done it by now, so let's check our work. So again, this one was a little trickier because they asked the question, and you need to be careful when you're asking that question. You need to be careful because the question was who has less. Okay, so that answer is less instead of more. So when we take a look at our picture here, we can determine that Mia does not have as many pennies as June does. So go ahead and check your answer and see if you have Mia there for number 2. And again, doing this work, the next thing you should have done is connected your pennies on the paper to see how many match. and then put a circle around how many were left over. And then by doing that, we can count 1, 2, 3, and we know that Mia had 3 less cents than June. Go ahead and check your work right now. Boys and girls, go ahead and do the rest of the page by yourself. When we're finished, if we have time, we're going to work on playing a game, and we'll pick the video back up to do that. Boys and girls, we're going to play a game. It's called the difference game. So if you take a look, here are our directions. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some pennies so that we have a bank. Number 2, the next thing we need to do is we need to use a deck of 1 through 10 number cards. We have those all ready for you right now. Number 3, you're going to play with your 2 players. Each player takes 1 card from the top of the deck and takes the same number of pennies from the bank shown on the card. Number 4 says both players find out how many more pennies one player has than the other. So at this point here, you're going to need to line up your pennies and figure out who has more. Number 5, the player with more pennies gets to keep the extra pennies. And then so all the pennies that matched go back into the bank. But the player who had more gets the extras. And you keep playing, the game is over when there's not any pennies in the blank to pay another round. And the winner of the game is the player with more pennies. Let's see if I can find a partner and we can try this game out and see how it goes. Good luck!